welcome back to Siren Flies. Today we're going to tie a variant of the Shad dart that's done well for me on the American River in California. First we'll attach our UTC 140 white thread. In particular, I've come to really like this Matsuo jig hook. It's a little bit heavier hook, and I love how the jig hooks ride hook up. Now I've attached my bead chain eyes with 8 wraps on one side and then reversed to 8 wraps on the other side, and then I wrap underneath the eyes to basically lash them tight to the hook shank. And they don't need to be completely firmly attached because ultimately we're going to cover them in some UV acrylic. Next I will get 5 strands of midge flash, and then we'll cut those in half once. And now that those are cut, I'll slide them under the thread and try and get them up behind the bead chain eyes. So you'll notice I take a couple wraps forward to position that. And now I'll wrap down the shank of the hook, covering the crystal flash as I keep it tight. And this will form our tail. And now I'll use the length of the body of my fly by measuring it with my scissors as my guide to know where to cut the length of my tail. Now I'll begin to wrap forward with consecutive touching wraps to create the taper in the body that I want in this fly. Generally I keep my tapered bodies pretty thin, but feel free to make them thicker if you feel. And now I'll finish with a whip finish behind the eyes. Just cleaning up a couple loose threads here. And now we'll take some UV fly paint in orange and begin to fill in the gap between the eyes. Ultimately what I want to create here is basically just a little orange ball around the eyes. I designed this pattern to look like some sort of fish fry. And so fish fry often have a yolk sac that's brightly colored and visible. And so we coat the top of those bead chain eyes, and now I'm going to go over the other side. Again, ultimately just trying to create basically a little ball of orange in between these eyes. I'll then rotate the vise to create, basically just even out the UV acrylic before I go ahead and harden it with the flashlight. Once it's nice and hard, I'll go ahead and begin to work on the body. I'll use UV clear finish flow and just put a light thin coat over it. And this basically just ensures that the whole thing is completely sealed. It makes it rock hard. Usually put both a layer on the top and the bottom. And then just even things out in case there's enough on there that it's starting to glob up in certain places. And now I'll harden the whole thing as I spin it to just make sure that everything settles evenly. And there you go. There's my variant on a shad dart. I'll often substitute in lead eyes as well. Have a good one. Don't forget to check out sirenflies.com.